Hello, everyone. My name is Eloisa Ramos, and I'm here with my friend Teresa and my daughter Sonia. Hi. So we are continuing with the study of A Course in Miracles, and we left off on chapter 13, The Guiltless World. And we are starting section 6, Finding the Present. Okay. And we just, last time we were reading the two emotions, love and fear. So let's see what we're going to be given today here in this section. Paragraph 1. To perceive truly is to be aware of all reality through the awareness of your own. But for this, no illusions can arise to meet your sight, for reality leaves no room for any error. This means that you perceive a brother only as you see him now. His past has no reality in the present, so you cannot see it. Your past reactions to him are also not there. And if it is to them that you react, you see but an image of him that you made and cherish instead of him. In your questioning of illusions, ask yourself if it is really saying to perceive what was as now. Let's see. In your questioning of illusions, ask yourself if it is really saying to perceive what was as now. If you remember the past as you look upon your brother, you will be unable to perceive the reality that is now. Oh, I see. Yeah, so the line 6, what was, means past tense. the wording was a little. So in your questioning of illusions, ask yourself if it's really saying to perceive what was, comma, as now. Okay. This really describes what we do when we make a self-image or an ego of ourselves or others. So what it's saying is that we're bringing in the past. They're going to be judgments or interpretations or, experiences we've had with a person. Okay. But when we record those experiences as a memory, they're stored as an interpretation because it's our interpretation. So it's our point of view. So they're not facts. We tend to think of our memories as, oh, this is what happened. This is a fact. Okay, but they're not facts at all. They're very subjective. So that's why to be able to perceive reality, okay, to truly perceive reality and to be present in the now. And I think the Course also calls it a holy instant. Okay, this is where the mind lets go of all of the past, doesn't bring any of the past. And so there's no past bias to that encounter. Because any reaction, see line 5, your past reactions to him are also not there. And if it is to them that you react, you see but an image of him that you made. Okay. So when we think of people, we tend to think of them as images, as our past experiences with them. And then we make up this image of, oh yeah, I know my aunt, I know my uncle, he's, like this, like this, like this. And we call that, my Uncle Joe. Okay, all right. But that's just made up of all of our own personal reactions to them. That's not really who they are. So we're not really looking at reality. We're looking at an image that we've made of them. um, and so that's why it's saying here is that it's not really sane to perceive the past as it is now, because as you know, we can learn from our mistakes. So you can't say that, oh, someone that knew me when I was 10, okay, and hadn't seen me all these years, and they have an image of me and they're going to say, oh, well, yeah, I know her. We grew up together until age 10, and then they meet me now. Well, I would I would not meet that image. Okay. I would not fit that image anymore. Okay. Um, so because I've learned a lot from my mistakes, and therefore for them to see me through the eyes of what they remember, me as 10 year old 10 years old would be to not really know me. And vice versa if I did that to them too. um, yes. So this is where we lose sight of reality. Okay. Any questions for that one? No. Okay, number 2.
You consider it natural to use your past experience as a reference point from which to judge the present. Yet this is unnatural because it is delusional. When you have learned to look on everyone with no reference at all to the past, either his or yours as you perceived it, you will be able to learn from what you see now. For the past can cast no shadow to darken the present, unless you are afraid of light. And only if you are would you choose to bring darkness with you. And by holding it in your mind, see it as a dark cloud that shrouds your brothers and conceals their reality from your sight.
Yeah, so I was just, thinking the same thing, Sonia. Like, well, why would we want to do that? Why would we want to bring the past, right?
Mhm.
So this is kind of telling us, well, you really wouldn't unless you are afraid of the light. And the way I was kind of looking at that, I was thinking, oh, well, sometimes we look at our past judgments as a way to address our fears, because we believe that some people are good and some people are bad. And so we have to be able to relate and try to keep ourselves, quote unquote, away from the bad people. Do you see what I'm saying? Uh, so if we want to hold on to that judgment of the idea that, oh, no, people can, God created everything good, everyone good, but then people can change themselves and become bad and evil. And now I have to protect myself from that. So I want to make sure that if I felt someone was rude to me, that I keep track of that somehow, because, I don't want to have to experience that again from them or something like that. So I want to protect myself. Um, but really what I'm afraid of is the light. Okay. So what was coming up for you here, Sonia?
Uh, in that sentence or what?
Well, no, in the whole paragraph.
Oh, no, I can relate because I do that a lot. Um, because I use my past as a reference point all the time to judge people or situations or things.
Yeah, because we're holding on to an image, right? It's like we already made up our mind about this person. So I already know whether I, have decided to trust them, to not trust them, to, let's see, to be afraid of them, to not be afraid of them, I already have stories about this person that says, oh no, they've done this, and this, and don't hang around with them, or yes, hang around with them. So there's always that positive and negative judgment. Okay, but we do that, but line 2 says this is not natural. Okay, it's actually delusional. Because it means that we're living in the past. Right? So when we're living in the past, when we bring in the past, we're not really able to respond to the present moment as it is. So you could say that our perception is going to, we're going to misperceive people's intentions and motives because our reference point is no longer a good reflection for what's happening now. Yeah. Yes. So to be afraid of the light means that we are actually afraid of the truth, which is, no, everyone's created loving. Okay. And to perceive otherwise means that we are perceiving darkness. We're perceiving that that love is not perfect. And once we perceive that, then we will bring that with us because we are unwilling to be open and let go of the darkness from the past to see the light that's there, so that we don't change our mind, so that we protect our own judgments and our own beliefs, our own image that we made about other people and ourselves. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, number 3.
This darkness is in you. The Christ as revealed to you now has no past, for he is changeless, and in his changelessness lies your release. For if he is as he was created, then there is no guilt in him. No cloud of guilt has risen to obscure him, and he stands revealed in everyone you meet, because you see him through himself. To be born again is to let the past go and look without condemnation upon the present. The cloud that obscures God's Son to you is the past, and if you would have it past and gone, you must not see it now. If you see it now in your illusions, it has not gone from you, although it is not there. I love the sentence 5, to be born again is to let the past go and look without condemnation upon the present.
Yeah.
It's like in every moment you're born again. You're
Yes.
looking at the world as a fresh place with love and only love.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. So we're not projecting any guilt. We're not seeing any, let's see, evil. We're just seeing innocence, basically, because that's what Christ is. Christ with a
And that's
capital
actually,
C.
yeah, that's actually what forgiveness is too.
Yes, because remember that forgiveness says, I forgive my brother for what he did not do. Okay, because what I think he did is really an image that I made of him in the past. And I think that he's doing that again. Okay, but he never did that. I just misinterpreted it. I misperceived it. So that's the error in my mind that is the darkness that I bring with me. Because I don't clear the perception, because I don't release the error. And those are the illusions that if you see it now in your illusions, that would be my illusions. It has not gone from you, although it's not there. Yeah. So we're seeing what is not there because we see only the past. That's one of the lessons. Yeah. Okay, number 4. Time can release as well as imprison, depending on whose interpretation of it you use. Past, present, and future are not continuous unless you force continuity on them. You can perceive them as continuous and make them so for you, but do not be deceived and then believe that this is how it is. For to believe reality is what you would have it be according to your use for it is delusional. You would destroy time's continuity by breaking it into past, present, and future for your own purposes. You would anticipate the future on the basis of your past experience and plan for it accordingly. Yet by doing so, you are aligning past and future and not allowing the miracle, which could intervene between them, to free you to be born again. Okay, so time can be used to heal the mind, to heal the error, to look at, to release the past. Or we can use it to imprison the mind in illusions. Because if we just bring the past into the present, then we're kind of skipping over the present and making that the future. So let's see. Yes. So unless you force continuity on them. So in other words, sometimes we want to, we say, well, geez, I really want to change the way I see this. I want to see things differently. It's one of the lessons too. But if we don't release the past, if we don't heal the past, if we don't let go of the error in the past, we cannot change the perception. And that's what the miracle is. It's a change in perception that allows us to release the misperception that was the illusion of having made an image of our brother as somehow not loving, as somehow, let's see, not as God created him. And therefore, we would have to also believe that about ourselves. And that's fine. For to believe reality is what you would have it be according to your use for it. So that's delusional. So we start losing sight of reality because we make our own illusions what we've held on to in our past as judgments and guilt, condemnation of our brothers. We hold on to that, and then just bring that into the present moment. So that's all we see. So that we think that, oh, of course they're the same. They haven't changed. I shouldn't trust them. They're still, out to get me or whatever. So we don't allow that present moment to be able to show us the truth that no, I'm misperceiving. And line 7 is, okay, well, if you're going to anticipate the future based on your past, you're going to plan for it accordingly. And once we plan for it accordingly, we are literally going to manifest it that way. So it becomes like a loop, because that's what we expect. So it's going to be a lot harder for us to see that we're wrong, and then change our perception when we're already planning and expecting it to be that way. So yes, and so we become imprisoned. That's why the mind becomes imprisoned, and we miss that opportunity of the miracle there that could free us to be born again. It says free you to be born again. Yeah, so we don't have to die to be born again. And what it means is that the way out of time is not through death, it's through eternal life. So it's through the truth of the present moment, which is eternal. So it's not bringing a past and then making a future out of it. It's just eternal present moment. Okay, any question? Okay, number 5.
The miracle enables you to see your brother without his past, and so perceive him as born again. His errors are all past, and by perceiving him without them, you are releasing him. And since his past is yours, you share in this release. Let no dark cloud out of your past obscure him from you, for truth lies only in the present, and you will find it if you seek it there. You have looked for it where it is not, and therefore have not found it. Learn, then, to seek it where it is, and it will dawn on eyes that see. Your past was made in anger, and if you use it to attack the present, you will not see the freedom that the present holds. So that freedom would really just be the forgiveness, right? Because that would be what the present holds, is to see that what my brother did not occur, did not happen. So
yeah, that it was in my own mind. I made it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, through my own judgment, right? Well, yeah, because see, the previous part to that line says your past was made in anger. And if you use it to attack the present. So that's the grievance. So if we make the past in anger, we're holding a grievance, right? We're saying you did something to me, and I'm really angry at you because you in some way did me wrong or hurt me or something. So I hold on to the idea of revenge, I want to use it to attack you in the present. Yeah, we will not be free from the fear, from the illusion of attack and separation. Yeah, so the past that we think belongs to our brother, okay, is what we made as an image of what we think our brother is, or of ourselves. We do that to ourselves too, okay? And so to forgive that, to let that go, doesn't just free our brother, it frees us, because it frees our mind. It's a healing of our mind. That's why 2 says his errors are all past, and by perceiving him without them, you are releasing him. And since his past is yours, you share in this release. So that's why forgiveness is really a healing of our mind. Yeah. It's not even really for forgiveness is not really for our brothers. It's for ourselves. It's for the sanity of our mind. Okay, so let's see. Number 6.
Judgment and condemnation are behind you, and unless you bring them with you, you will see that you are free of them. Look lovingly upon the present, for it holds the only things that are forever true. All healing lies within it, because its continuity is real. It extends to all aspects of the sonship at the same time, and thus enables them to reach each other. The present is before time was, and will be when time is no more. In it are all things that are eternal, and they are one. Their continuity is timeless, and their communication is unbroken, for they are not separated by the past. Only the past can separate, and it is nowhere. I guess this kind of reiterates the last several paragraphs. It's just saying, look lovingly upon the present. That is where truth lies, and that's where all healing lies.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that there it is said on, I think it's line 6, that all things are eternal and they are one. It's like there really is no time. It's like endless now.
Yes. Yes, and so so the problem is that we bring the past. We're holding on to judgment and condemnation. Okay. That is behind you. So that's the block to the awareness of love's presence, which is the present eternal now. Because God is with us. We've never left God. And that awareness is there in the present moment when we let go of all of the past that we've made. And yeah, so we have to let go of all the thinking, because when we think, we're either thinking about the past or we're thinking about the future. We don't think about now, because now is just now. It doesn't need to be thought about. It's in the moment. So basically we have to be in a place of just being without any thought, and just open to receiving whatever the communication is, from our brother, from Holy Spirit, from reality. And it's all love. So it's the presence of love that we would experience and that we would share also. Because there would be no separation there. It says only the past can separate. So it's really, the now is really the portal to the right mind. It takes us out of the fearful ego thought system, which is all made up. It's all past grievances and condemnation and judgment. Yeah. And that's what, that's why we're afraid. So anytime we're in fear, we're not going to be in the present moment. Yeah. We're not going to be in the now. Okay. Okay, number 7. The present offers you your brothers in the light that would unite you with them and free you from the past. Would you then hold the past against them? For if you do, you are choosing to remain in the darkness that is not there, and refusing to accept the light that is offered you. For the light of perfect vision is freely given, as it is freely received. and can be accepted only without limit. In this one, still dimension of time that does not change, and where there is no sight of what you were, you look at Christ and call his witnesses to shine on you because you called them forth. And they will not deny the truth in you because you looked for it in them and found it there. Okay. Yes, so the present is the freedom from the past. And in that light, we can see that we are all the same. We're all created as one son of God. So to hold anything against our brothers would be to choose to block that awareness of oneness, of love's presence. Yes, and therefore that would be choosing to see with the body's eyes, to see, to see evil, to see conflict, to see fear, terror, death, bodies, all of that. But the light of perfect vision does not see any of that. It only sees innocence. And because it's coming from the recognition of the Christ mind, which is holy, and therefore everything that it sees is holy. And so this is the dimension of time that does not change. So you could say that this is beyond time. It's the Holy Spirit vision beyond time. Yeah, and where there is no sight of what you were. So where we don't see these images that we made up, I think they're, of course, calls them shadow figures that we bring with us. Then we look at Christ, and therefore the world and everyone in the world will witness to that Christ. So it's almost like a reinforcing loop. Either you're in one loop and it reinforces darkness, or you're in the other loop and it reinforces light and love and truth. Yeah, because 6, and then they will not deny the truth in you because you looked for it in them and found it there. So it's this giving is receiving, sharing that extends. Yes, so so that the mind is sharing the light of truth, and that helps our brothers to see the light in them also and share that back with us. Okay. All right, number 8.
Now is the time of salvation, for now is the release from time. Reach out to all your brothers and touch them with the touch of Christ. In timeless union with them is your continuity, unbroken because it is wholly shared. God's guiltless Son is only light. There is no darkness in him anywhere, for he is whole. Call all your brothers to witness to his wholeness, as I am calling you to join with me. Each voice has a part in the song of redemption, the hymn of gladness and thanksgiving for the light to the Creator of light. The holy light that shines forth from God's Son is the witness that his light is of his Father.
Anything, Sonia?
Well, to me, I mean, it's really emphasizing, I mean, it's a really beautiful section, but to me, it's really emphasizing time in the past. And I keep thinking, well, anytime that we hold a grievance or like I don't forgive someone, I'm really just holding time in my mind. So I'm basically seeing them as a body. That can attack me, which is why I would be holding the past in the first place. Otherwise, there would be no reason for me to even think of the past. But yeah, so I guess this is just saying that I just have to completely let go of the idea of time, basically.
Yeah, and the way to do that is to let go of the past. So see how it
Yeah.
moves.
Yeah. The past is, yeah, it's time.
The
So,
past is time because it's darkness that blocks the light of truth of eternity, right? So they all go once we let go of the past, because the past is where we hold our brother guilty for what he did not do to us. Okay, so
mhm.
that's the grievance. So what we are saying is that somehow perfect love has turned into imperfect love, okay, which is not possible, okay, but perception allows us to see what is not there. So perception makes projection, and guilt is what we project to make the image of our brother as not perfect love. um, so line 4 is God's guiltless Son is only light. So we were created as light, pure light. So to see darkness is not to see really anything, because what reality is what God created, which is light. Remember that the Course says there's some terms that do not have an opposite. Well, light is one of those terms, because darkness is not the opposite of light. Darkness is simply an absence of it, or when you think of darkness, it's a shadow because there's a block in front of the light. So darkness in itself has no, it's not a real, it's not a, darkness does not exist on its own, but light does. So light is reality. And if the mind chooses to, sleep or turn a blind eye or deny the truth, or, hold a grievance rather than the miracle, then there seems to be darkness, but it's not really there. It's only in our mind. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, number 9.
Shine on your brothers in remembrance of your Creator, for you will remember him as you call forth the witnesses to his creation. Those whom you heal bear witness to your healing, for in their wholeness you will see your own. And as your hymns of praise and gladness rise to your Creator, he will return your thanks in his clear answer to your call. For it can never be that his Son called upon him and remained unanswered. His call to you is but your call to him, and in him you are answered by his peace. It's also a beautiful paragraph like the last one. It seems like a continuation of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I like I think the first line encapsulates it. Shine on your brothers in remembrance of your Creator.
Yes, so that's the power of forgiveness, because that's how we remember love, through the practice of forgiveness. Because forgiveness removes the blocks to the awareness of God's presence, of love's presence, of the light. So, and that's why line 2 uses the word heal here. So those whom you heal, okay, how are we healing them? Well, because we are perceiving the reality in them as they were created, okay, and not bringing forth the illusions, okay, then that the clarity in our mind, the light in our mind shines in their mind, and that brings healing, okay, because our own mind, at least in that moment, is free of fear, is free of darkness, so it can offer a miracle to our brother, because we are seeing him in truth, how God created him, in wholeness. And that's how we heal our mind, by offering healing to others, by seeing them whole, and as they were created. So it's let's see. So it's a decision to be open to the truth and not hold on to our own ideas and our own beliefs and our own biases, but yeah, so, and it is a beautiful thing, because those experiences are holy instants where the truth becomes more and more clear with each experience that we have. There are no real differences, and we start seeing how everyone is just the same. They're me, they're myself. It's one sun, one Christ mind. Okay. Okay, so 10. Let's see. Child of light, you know not that the light is in you, yet you will find it through its witnesses. For having given light to them, they will return it. Each one you see in light brings your light closer to your awareness. Love always leads to love. The sick who ask for love are grateful for it, and in their joy they shine with holy thanks. And this they offer you who gave them joy. They are your guides to joy, for having received it of you, they would keep it. You have established them as guides to peace, for you have made it manifest in them, and seeing it, its beauty calls you home. So so that's why, love is really a decision, because at first we don't know that the light is us. Okay, so if we don't know that the light is us, how are we going to give the light? Okay, we don't think we have it. So that's why it's a decision. Either we choose love or we choose fear. So it's a decision to say, look, I am going to choose, I'm going to trust here, and I'm going to choose love, and I'm going to choose to forgive. And if I make that a practice, then these witnesses will start showing up. Line 2, yet you will find it through its witnesses. For having given light to them, they will return it. Okay, because remember that giving is receiving. So if I start choosing love, forgiveness, then that's going to come back to me. And then each one will see in light. Okay, because then the light becomes closer to my awareness because of that. So love always leads to love. But it does start first with a decision, because remember, we're not in our right mind most of the time. But we can still choose. We can still know that there's another way of seeing it. So even if we're not seeing it through the eyes of love, we can recognize, wait a minute, this is really a fearful way of looking at this. Anything that's not perfect joy means that I'm looking at this. There's an error somewhere in my thinking here, in my mind, because I have not chosen love. But if I become aware of my error, then I have the option to choose again. And now I can choose love, and I can choose to forgive. And that's the correction. That's the miracle. Holy Spirit brings in the light, because the decision maker has opened the mind to receive it. Yes. And that's a blessing. Line 5, the sick who ask for love are grateful for it. So what we're doing with forgiveness is we're offering blessings, because it's healing, because love heals. So the act of forgiveness is an act of love. So yeah, so they're happy to return it. So okay. Any questions there? Yeah, so then it talks about peace here. It says, they are your guides to joy, for having received it of you, they would keep it. And the way that we keep it, is by sharing it. So if we receive, if we did something and someone just says, hey, look, just doesn't get mad with us, doesn't get upset, they completely understand, don't feel bad about it, it's not a problem, everything's good. Well, that's a big relief to us. That's a really big gift. That's a really big blessing that we receive. When someone is generous, loving, understanding, that's a big load off of our emotional state. So because we don't have to carry all that guilt, they're not condemning us. So and so let's see. Yes. And so we have established them as guides to peace. So this is how we, for you have made it manifest in them. So this is where we have the witnesses that choose peace rather than, okay, conflict. Okay, like, yeah, I really made a bad mistake here, but this witness, my brother, is choosing to be understanding and to not like chew me out and shame me in public and all of that, attack me with anger and all of that. No, they're choosing to be understanding and they're, you know, they want me to learn from my mistake, and they're being helpful, you know. So so therefore they're choosing peace rather than, oh yeah, this is my chance to beat you up, you know, because you really effed it up, you know. And so so that's why it says that they're guides to peace, because for you have made it manifest in them. So when we choose forgiveness, we're also choosing peace rather than conflict. And we begin to see the beauty of that, you know, the beauty of living in peace and giving that and having that come back to us. Okay. So it becomes a kinder world, you know, and who doesn't want that? Okay, number 11.
There is a light that this world cannot give, yet you can give it as it was given you. And as you give it, it shines forth to call you from the world and follow it. For this light will attract you as nothing in this world can do. And you will lay aside the world and find another. This other world is bright with love which you have given it. And here will everything remind you of your Father and his Holy Son. Light is unlimited and spreads across this world in quiet joy. All those you brought with you will shine on you, and you will shine on them in gratitude because they brought you here. Your light will join with theirs in power so compelling that it will draw the others out of darkness as you look on them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look at all the people. I mean, well, now and also in history, your light will join with theirs in power so compelling that it will draw the others out of darkness as you look on them. It just makes me think of all of the people we've had throughout history, that were completely not split. They're completely unwavering in their decision for love and peace, and which is why everyone's attracted to that because, yeah. But also in the first sentence, there is a light that this world cannot give. Well, that about just completely just makes the idea of trying to find light in the world or any kind of love in the world completely meaningless. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
well, because the ego didn't make the world with love. I mean, I projected it out. Nothing in this world is
Yeah.
loving. So yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Exactly.
Yes, so it's talking about the happy dream here, because you bring the light to the world, because remember that this is a world of perception, like you were saying, it's a projection of the ego mind. Okay, but it doesn't have to, but that's an illusion. Okay, so the real world is the world that's filled with light and love. Okay, because we're bringing that forth. So the holy mind brings forth a holy world. And that's the real world. So the world that we're, you know, a world of projected guilt made by the thought of separation, the ego. Yeah, there's not going to be any love there because of what you were saying. It was made without love. It was made out of what I judged and condemned, basically. And therefore, obviously, I didn't make it out of love. I made it out of anger and judgment and condemnation. And and those are all just images that are in the past, that are in my mind, and are blocking the reality of the holiness of my mind, which would then perceive a holy world. um, so so there's there's a lot to be said for the importance of healing our mind, because it's sacred work, not just for us personally, but because it's one mind, and it's something that we share, and the more we share it, the more that it comes back. So it's a so what I'm saying is that it's the salvation of the world. It's not just our own personal salvation, it's really the salvation of the world. That is misperceived to be in darkness, because we're not able to see the light. We're not able to see the reality. Because remember, the world's a reflection of what's in our mind. So until we can bring the mind to the now and leave all of the past behind, then it's going to be reflecting darkness. So, yeah. Okay, 12.
Awakening unto Christ is following the laws of love of your free will, and out of quiet recognition of the truth in them. The attraction of light must draw you willingly, and willingness is signified by giving. Those who accept love of you become your willing witnesses to the love you gave them, and it is they who hold it out to you. In sleep you are alone, and your awareness is narrowed to yourself, and that is why the nightmares come. You dream of isolation because your eyes are closed. You do not see your brothers, and in the darkness you cannot look upon the light you gave to them. I guess this is basically saying that awaking to Christ and following the laws of love is a choice. And when you're in sleep and darkness, you're in sleep and darkness. And you don't see the light.
Yes, because all we're seeing are dream figures.
Mm-hmm.
So they're images that we made up.
And then as we give love, others reflect it.
Yes. Yes, because we stop projecting all the dream figures onto we stop, let's see, because we begin to clear all of that darkness that are the dream figures, so that the light can shine through and the mind begins to wake up. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so in sleep you are alone, because that's the thing with with insanity, is that if we fill our mind with images that are not real, that we've made up, of condemnation and judgment, we are going to feel alone, because we're surrounded by unreal figures that are not going to be loving. So we get drawn, deeper and deeper into that sense of separation, and I have to survive on my own, and justify, and I'm going to justify attack, because hey, I'm on my own, I got to survive. So so then it becomes this downward spiral deeper into the darkness, into the sleep. So yeah. Okay, let's see, 13. And yet the laws of love are not suspended because you sleep, and you have followed them through all your nightmares, and have been faithful in your giving, for you were not alone. even in sleep, has Christ protected you, ensuring the real world for you when you awake. And in your name, he has given for you and given you the gifts he gave. God's Son is still as loving as his Father. Continuous with his Father, he has no past apart from him. So he has never ceased to be his Father's witness and his own. Although he slept, Christ's vision did not leave him. And so it is that he can call unto himself the witnesses that teach him that he never slept. Okay, so this kind of brings us full circle back to the awakened mind, because it's saying, look, nothing really has changed because we sleep. The laws of love continue. They're not suspended. Okay. And the Christ, which is our one self, okay, has been continuing to offer love and give love and receive those gifts for us. So all of that is still available to us when we awaken. So that the dream itself did not change anything, did not change us. It was just an error in our mind of believing that we had separated and become something that could not be possible as a separate ego self that was alone. Okay, so it was all just this nightmare. And so there's another part where the Course says that we have continued to create, even though in time we've fallen asleep and do not create, we make. So when the mind is asleep, we're making up images that are not real. That's why it's not creation, because they're not loving. We're not creating the way that God creates. We're making up illusions that are unreal and are made without love. So that's the nightmare. But none of that is true. So 8, although he slept, Christ's vision did not leave him. And so it is that he can call upon himself the witnesses that teach him that he never slept. So by practicing, by let's see, that willingness here, where it was over here, we'll see that the previous paragraph 12, first line, awakening unto Christ is following the laws of love, of your free will, and out of quiet recognition of the truth in them. So this is right here how we begin to wake up here, because by choosing love, by choosing to follow the laws of love out of our free will, we begin the process of awakening. Yes, and so it is that he can call upon himself. The last line in paragraph 13, and so it is that he can call upon himself the witnesses that teach him that he never slept. So that's how we start the process here, is by our free will choosing to follow the laws of love, choosing peace instead of conflict, choosing forgiveness. And that's how we begin to call the witnesses that will, bless us by also forgiving us and choosing peace. And that's how we learn that the sleeping mind is an illusion, because God creates only mind awake. That's there's a line in there in the Course that says that. So the whole thing, the whole dream is done. What God creates is mind awake, period. So we let go of the whole idea of a split mind, of the dreaming. Yeah. Okay. So any questions? Yeah, finding the present. It just summed it all up. If we find the present, that's the portal right there to awakening from the dream. And it's no wonder that Eckhart Tolle really has been teaching that in so many of his books, The Power of Now, and because because that's the key right there. Because it's only in the present moment that the mind can heal, because it is a decision to not bring the past into the present. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for today, finding the present. And let's see, next time we're going to read The Attainment of the Real World. So it's a continuation, the next piece of it. So thank you. Unless there's any questions, we'll see you next time. Bye.